Hey everybody, this is Abong Eka, founder of Economics, aka NOMICS, best-selling author of Start Me Up, the No Business Plan, and the 10-Minute Motivator. And I'm doing a quick video today to talk about the difference, or actually the myth, of successful people. And a lot of times you'll see this online, and it doesn't matter if you watch it on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, people are always talking about hustle and grind, and that people have t-shirts and hats, and they talk about that a lot. And there's an actual myth about what it takes to get any level of success in any genre of life, any industry of life. And I think one of the problems that people start to see when it comes to successful people is they think that, and maybe if this is you, then you could raise your hand, but you think that in order to become to have some level of success, you have to step on people's heads and people's necks. You got to grind over people. You have to do things to hurt others. And there's just somebody sitting in a room smoking a cigar, trying to do evil in the world. And you hear this a lot if you see on Twitter or Facebook, or people who are giving these rants about people who are wealthy. And then this kind of meanders into tax, and people will say things about tax more people and everything else. A lot of times people who are saying this don't have a lot of their own, and they don't understand what it takes to get to that level. Now this may not be a popular stance, but I want to make something very clear. The people who I know in my life who are very successful, I'm talking about people who are worth 5, 10, 15 to $100 million. They work constantly. And getting up to the point where they got that level of money and net worth, they were consistently working. They worked when they didn't want to work. They worked when their kid had a high school game or some middle school game or some soccer match, and they worked part-time while they were there. And I get there has to be a balance. But again, you got to look at what you really want in life, and that's everybody's own decision. That's something that you have to arrive at yourself. Like, that's not something that I can tell you, or you can, or someone else can tell you. You have to decide what you want. And so when I've worked with companies who are middle-level management, helping them get their teams engaged and their employees engaged so that they can increase productivity and eventually can increase income and revenue, is I realized at some point in time, they thought that they had a story in their mind as to, if I just work 40, 50 hours a week, I got to work, and then I can that'll automatically lead to me ascending the ladder to become partner or to become manager or an executive. What they don't understand is, yes, that's true, that's part of it, but if the only reason you're doing this is to become a partner or become a middle manager or a higher level manager, that is not strong enough of a goal in order for you to do that. Especially if you don't like what you're doing, or if you don't like the people you're working with. There is no way you will be that consistent if all you're looking for is a quick promotion. It's not going to work. And you see people who end up, they start working out of college, they're 30 years old, they're middle management, 35 years old, and then they start thinking about what they really want in life, right? They start doing things that are different. They go out and they learn new things, learn new skills. They start looking differently at their career, and then they leave as middle managers. You see the turnover happen so many times. When I worked at firms like PwC or Deloitte & Touche, I went through the same thing. It's a level of burnout that's a mid-tier burnout, and you're not burning out because you ascended to the ladder to the top. You burn out because you realize what you really wanted is not what you're going to get at that particular place. Now the key is this: what do you do to create things to make the likelihood of you wanting to continue on that journey better? So the guy who runs a $100 million company, it's his company or her company, and they actually had this goal to make this become as big as it possibly could. So their incentive is multiple tiered and multiple fold, right? The person who's working at a large company or a medium-sized company, they don't have that same drive as the owner does, or the guy who's a second in command. It's a completely different drive. And the things that keep us moving literally are ancillary to money. So if you're in a situation where you're not sure you want to go, I want you to take a look about what you really want and make sure you can identify that in words and even write it down and figure out how to get that. That's exactly part of the framework that we use to help companies, small, medium, and large, to get their employees engaged, get their team members engaged, and get them to actually increase productivity. And if you reach out to me, I'll share with you a case study on which we helped someone who had just started working at a major cable company in the call center, and how she was able to get promoted within 3 months of working with me. Twice. So thanks again for watching. Hope you have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you guys soon.